Okay, so let's see how long this one goes before something technological gets wrong. Well, hi there. My name is Charles Ray Dawson. I'm the Associate Broker Residential Sales Manager at ProStar Realty. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, episode 275. And it is Wednesday the 13th, and I'm recording early because I got downtime. And no downtime tomorrow. So once again, everybody just casually scheduling everything on top of my life. You know, because, hey, we know Ray's going to be in the office on Thursday, so let's throw everything there. So, hope you guys are having a great day. Where are we at? Same old, to be honest with you. Today we had a sales meeting. Solar panels came up. That was like the main topic. And, why you don't want them. What do you do when you're a real estate agent and you realize that your clients who want to sell their house have them? All the things you need to get in position for when that eventually does close. How to find out whether or not if that solar panel company still exists as an entity or went out of business. And if it went out of business, did they just recently file foreclosure a couple of weeks ago? And so if you've been quite happily sending your lease payment over to these guys, it is now going into like some sort of foreclosure receivership, which means in a lot of cases, I don't think you can do anything with those panels because the judge has to sign off on releasing any asset, including a lease. Yeah, just say no. Just say no to solar panels. Other things, you can't just tear them off your roof and take them down to the dump because they are literally considered hazardous waste. Something else they also don't tell you on the brochure. All right, so they have to be specially removed by licensed professionals to handle the hazardous waste, and they take into a special hazmat dump. Something else they didn't tell you on the brochure. Other things that you need to take a look at is whether or not you're actually getting enough energy out there to offset the cost of leasing them, because in a lot of cases you will wind up just paying more money. You're not paying APS, but you're paying, this other company. Something they don't tell you on the brochure. What else? They will just randomly stop working for no reason whatsoever, and you won't realize it until you start getting electrical bills. Something else they don't tell you on the brochure. They take $6,000 to have them removed in case you want to have a new roof put on. All right, that $6,000 will take them off to put it back on. So always make sure you get a new roof before you put solar panels on. Something else they don't tell you in the brochure. And in one particular case that I just literally heard 20 minutes ago talking to an escrow officer on another deal, she told me that she saw a home purchase and the panels, it was a probate estate sale, somebody died, kids turn around and say, oh yeah, the panels are paid off, nothing to worry about. Title does their due diligence, checks for liens on the property, checks for mechanics liens, checks for something called a UCC lien, which you use to lien against things, large mainframe computers, lathes, diesel engines, that kind of stuff. Came out completely clear, but that particular company was not a big fan of putting liens on anything because then you have to pay money to have the lien removed by hiring human beings to do that. So one day this lady's sitting there in her nice brand new house and stuff like that, and the power turns out. Why? Because the solar panel company showed up to repo their panels. Something else they don't tell you in the brochure. So next time that little grubby hippie in the tie-dye outfit shows up and asks you if you care about Gaia and wants to save the environment, and this is why you need to have solar panels and get rid of that nasty nuclear power or clean, efficient, natural gas or whatever, you punch him right in his hippie mouth. Damn hippies. Anyways, so I really hope Crystal sees these things every once in a while. She, client of mine, good friend, she's up in Washington State right now. She actually works for the jackbooted thugs of the Let's Electrify Washington board in the state of Washington. She's always talking, I went out to Moses Lake, Washington, because she knows I was born there. And we were convincing them that we need to put in 5 more electric charging stations so electric buses can get out there and recharge. I'm like, okay, so how long does electric bus take to recharge? Oh, they take 8 hours. I'm like, all right. So you want to start an electric bus line from Seattle, Washington to Moses Lake. What's the range of that bus? Something else they don't tell you on the brochure. Anyways, so I just love being snarky when I'm right. And I'm having a good real estate week. I just made my clients so much money I should charge them double on this transaction. I mean, like, oh my God. This is what happens in your life if you just let Ray cook. Just sit down, smile, let me do my thing. It'll all be over soon. So, what else is going on? The other topic of conversation that I really wanted to get into was a little bit of information that I found sitting in an office, reading a magazine that was only 5 months old, but it just had a little throwaway blurb of what people are looking for in real estate agents. I noticed really nobody in that survey said, I really liked Ray's big throbbing tech stack. All right. Had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with the creative uses of AI. All right. But what it did have, this is from National Association of Realtors. All right. What buyers want most from real estate agents, first time and repeat buyers? Top of the list. Find me the right home. 50%. That's what they wanted. 13% wanted them to negotiate the terms of the sale. 12% of them help with the price negotiations, which is pretty much the same thing, guys. So that's 25% right there. Help with paperwork, 7%. Determine what comparable homes we're selling for. Help me find the comps, guys, 6%. Help determining how much home buyer can afford, and help find and arrange financing was a total of 8% between those two. So here's 1%. Help teach buyer more about neighborhood area restaurants, parks, and public transportation. So, I mean, the fact that they have to do so, what do you want your agent to do? Find me a house? Wow, 50% of all people said wanted to find a house. Some people say, hey, I can find the house. I just need somebody to negotiate for me. These are your people on Zillow and Homes. Other one that I really liked was this: benefits provided by a real estate agent during home purchase process, right? These, like all good charts, they can select multiple things, so it goes up to over 100. But 54% of all buyers say pointed out unnoticed features and faults with property. Like I said, when you're looking at the pretty kitchen, I'm looking underneath the sink. All right. Helped buyer understand the process, 52%. All right. If you don't understand the process by now, after 275 episodes, all right, let me know. Okay, I am literally thinking I'm going to be doing buyer and seller just little mini videos. I've been talking about this for 5 years, but I finally we're just not going to be perfect. Okay, my original idea was going to have killer graphics and voiceovers and special effects and Dana Delaney behind me in a bikini or something like that. And well, the restraining order came in, and now we can't have that. So I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Me, a camera, a microphone, and talking. So, what else? Negotiated better sales contract terms, 54%. Okay. Negotiated a better list of service providers, like home inspections, 44%. Improved buyers' knowledge of search areas, 40. Negotiated a better price, 35. Makes me wonder if people just aren't that price sensitive as I thought they were. Shortened buyer's home search, 27. Provided a better list of mortgage lenders, 19%. Okay, 19% of all first-time home buyers went to Wells Fargo, Bank of America, one of those places. Oh, I'll just use my local credit union. And then when that fell through, hey, Ray, you got somebody? Expanded the buyer search area, narrowed the buyer search area. Okay, 18 and 50% respectively. 7, none of the above. And 3% other. Okay, so 7% think agents provided no benefit whatsoever. Cranky people out there. Okay. And the 3% other, hey, you know what? It's like, I just learned such great vocabulary from Ray. I was entertained. What else do we got going on? How buyers find you. Referrals, 43%. Number one with a bullet, boys and girls. All right. Or they previously used the person, that 15%. So 58% of all buyers out there were either referred to you or were a prior customer. Note this, agents. This is why we work our circles. This is why we use CRMs. There was 7% inquired about a specific property viewed online. All right. 7% referred by another real estate agent or broker. I don't work that area, but give Ray a call. Website, 6%. That's why I don't feel like throwing a lot of money into websites. Okay, that's 1 out of 20. What else do we have here? Visited an open house and met the agent, 5%. That's one of those reasons why open houses really aren't worth the investment. Personal contact by an agent, like telephone, email, or whatever. Saw contact information on a for sale open house sign, 2%. 1 out of 50. Right? Walked into or called our office and agent was on duty. 1% surrendered. All right. And I wonder how many different companies they had to go to before they found one that was actually open. All right. Mobile or tablet application, 1%. So that's not worth your investment, kids. Direct mail, newsletter, flyer, or postcard, less than 1%. Ooh, wow. Okay, so we're not doing the direct mail thing. Crowdsourcing through social media, knew the person through social media, 1%. Advertising specially, calendar, magnet, etc., less than 1%. Or others, 7%. Now remember, a lot of those things, the newsletters, the flyers, the little calendars and whatnot, that's just to maintain top of mind. That's so that 15% who used you previously remembers your name and has your phone number. All right, so that's... Anyways. And then my other favorite one here, just before we're done this. Number of real estate agents interviewed by first-time and repeat buyers. All right, 74% of all buyers used the first agent they talked to. 74%, 3 out of 4 went with the first person they talked to. All right, 16% talked to 2 different people before they chose one. All right, 3% or 7% talked to 3, and 3% of all, talk to 4 or more. And I guarantee you, boys and girls, that's the client you don't want. All right. Client that's talking to 4 or 5 agents is looking for somebody very, very specific. And they're probably looking for somebody who's very malleable, somebody who will cut their commission, be desperate, or whatever reason. It's like, aim for the 74. Okay, if you get that person, if you're like 1 of 4, right, get up, walk out the door. Say, hey, if you're interviewing other people, we're not in the right place. All right, 74% of the people pick their first agent. All right, if you feel the need to talk to somebody else, this isn't going to work out. I should have been able to convince you that I'm the guy. Right? I didn't meet whatever mental criteria that you have for an agent, and that means I don't have it. So you need to go find somebody else. But thank you very much for the opportunity to practice my pitch. See how that works? I find it really interesting how many times I can't convince agents they need to be instantly go into a spiel like that. Training last week, I'm like looking at them. It's like, hey, here's the biggest, here's your 5 biggest pushbacks. All right. I don't want to buy a house. Rates are too high. Go. And they just freeze. All right. Agents need to be able to answer that question right off the top of the head. I don't want to buy a house right now. Rates are too high. Do you currently have a house? I'm asking because I can understand that if you're sitting there at a 2.5% interest rate, to get rid of a 2.5% interest rate to suddenly move to a 6% interest rate is really, really rough. All right. Especially because we know that the interest rates are never going back down to 2. You'll never see a 2 in your lifetime unless we lose the great China-Taiwanese war. So if you're waiting for those rates to come down, let me tell you what, a lot of people are. Right? You're going to be with everybody else who's suddenly going to come on the market looking at those houses. And that's how houses get bid up. Back in 2021, during the COVID era, when the rates were in the 2s, right, we were standing in line at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. If those rates even hit 4s today, we're going to be standing in line on a Saturday at 11 o'clock, and we're going to be doing multiple offer bids. Right? We're going to be having to do escalator clauses. You're going to have to, it's going to be rough. Right? And if that happens in the next 6 months, great for me. All right. It's going to be bad for you. It'd be really cool if 6 months from now, when you've already gotten a house at a rate that we've decided you can't afford, even if it's not too incredibly comfortable, and it isn't the number you really want. In 6 months, if those rates come down, you can refinance into that. So instead of standing in line, you're suddenly getting 6 months worth of equity while the entire real estate market jumps up 20% again like it did last time. See how that works? Is that little flashing behind me distracting you guys as much as it is me? Lights at that certain thing, cars drive by, reflect light in here. Somewhere out there, one of my viewers is having an epileptic stroke. So these are the things I was trying to teach my agents. Like I said, notice nothing in there said tech stack. Okay. Nothing in there said he had really efficient processes, and I could tell that he returned the best shareholder value for his shareholders at all. So, and I think I've come full circle on this. Oh my God, consolidation. I spent some time this morning, called up one of the little AI bots, and I started having him give me little reports on, tell me about the CEO and founder of Compass, Tech Bro. Actually, he's a finance bro. He used to work for the Secretary of the Treasury, and was like a White House economist or something like that back in 2012. Okay, so, and he just decided, hey, let's go into do a technologically focused real estate model. All right, same thing with EXP. Actually, EXP guy was actually a real estate agent. Okay, EXP of all of them was an actual real estate agent, but some of these companies are just like straight up. It's like these guys they didn't grow up naturally in the industry. They're McNamara's. So I'm not too worried about them anymore. Anyways, let's go over the numbers real quick so I can shut this down because I have stuff to do. All right, so looking at the numbers for May 13th. 2026. Actives this week are 25,647, up 174. All right. Our new listings are 2,326, down 31. Our contracts were 2,487, down 281. And closings this week were 1,595. Coming soon to an MLS near you is 577 new listings. The reason why actives went up is because we had Mother's Day. Don't read anything into it, guys. Actives are up because contracts are down. Okay, because of Mother's Day. Nobody looks at houses on Mother's Day unless you're my clients. All right. Our supply right now is at 107.7. Our demand is at 88.6, giving us a Cromford report number of 82.2. So if you want to know how the market is, there's 4 buyers for every 5 houses. Don't be the 5th. All right. But remember, it's all local. So Fountain Hills is still leading the pack at 159.6. Up 6%. That's actually starting to slow up a little bit here. All right. Chandler stayed pat at 154.5. All right. And then we have Tempe, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Glendale, Mesa, and Gilbert. These are all could, and Avondale could all be considered seller's market, but Mesa, Gilbert, and Avondale, very soft seller's market. Average days on markets, guys. That's a conversation you're going to have there. Paradise Valley, don't care, rich people. Cave Creek and Peoria are your balanced markets. And then we get into the sellers with Goodyear standing pat at 84.3, no change. Surprise 77.8. Santan Valley going all the way down to Little Buckeye. But Queen Creek, wow, dropped 12 month over month. Okay, so Buckeye is down. If you're looking for the deals, guys, that's where you want to be. Santan Valley, Maricopa, Queen Creek, and Buckeye. So, what's the rest on my schedule going on? Like I said, we have a little bit of talk. I guess we're getting a new Fed chairman. Don't know when he's going to come in. Interest rates right now at this point are being, just impacted by the... Okay, so if you have a Cold War and then you go into a hot war and then all of a sudden it goes into a smoldering war, that smoldering war we're having with Iran right now, oil prices, this, that, and the other thing, I'm Don't even try to ask, hey, where do you think the rates are going anymore? Because every time I ask a lender that, their eye starts twitching. They start getting like little hand tremors. So we'll just let them do what they're going to do. Same thing, as always. If you wanted to sell a house this year, you should have let me put it on about a month ago. All right. But if you weren't going to let me put it on a month ago, the next best time to do it is now. Call me. All right. If you're looking to buy a house, okay, talk to a lender. Can you purchase a house comfortably? They will give you a price. You then call me and tell me what that price is. All right. Depending on what the price, sometimes I'll tell you, you're living here. Let me introduce you to Glendale. Let me introduce you to Buckeye. Let me introduce you to Maricopa. All right. Because that's where those price points are. There are still killer deals out there. I mean, if you were to buy into Queen Creek right now in Santan Valley, there are houses out there that are just begging. But once again, if you work from home, right? If you work from home and don't have to commute in, or you're retired, these are really, really great places. All right. And you get in them cheap compared to the rest of Maricopa County. So, but that's where we're at. We all know the words. All right, people, watch your children and pets around water. We got a holiday coming up. Definitely watch them around water. All right, work your circles. Okay, don't drive in anything flooded, even though I don't think we're going to have anything flooded for the next forever. I should also say, if we have a dust storm, okay, when those things start coming up, you do not stop in the middle of the road. Do not stop in the middle of the road in a dust storm. You pull off to the side, you get all the way off the asphalt, and you turn your lights out. I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, but if my lights are out, they won't see me. And that's actually a good thing. Because what happens when people get in a dust storm, they get blinded, they get panicky, and then they see taillights in front of them. They go, oh my God, I found somebody. I'm not alone in the universe. And they don't even get that far, because what they do say, oh my God, and then they slam in the back of your car at 65 miles an hour. So that's when you want to engage the cloaking device, boys and girls. All right. Thank you very much. Live long and prosper. You guys have a great day.